EVPUZZLE.
Good morning everyone, welcome back for another energy update video, an update on everything that's going on here in Norfolk in our home to do with smart automation, solar energy, home storage, batteries, electric cars, everything that's going on here in our lives I'll try and share with you today. And it's not all about energy, I'm afraid. Energy for the month of June has been absolutely fantastic with over 1.2 megawatt hours of generation. So the stats are really good, and it's some of the lowest grid draw as well that I've had. So look forward to giving you the stats towards the end of the video, but I thought I'd share as normal the update of what's been going on with our technology and with ourselves. And there's quite a lot to share. Start of the month, I ended up spending a day in A&E. A bit of an odd one, really. The GP doctor thought I had some sort of a hernia, so they booked me in to the hospital for a camera down the throat. And yeah, it's lovely to see some inside pictures of my body. The camera was quite amazing in very HD quality. More about cameras later. There is a link to that later. But it turned out that I've got some sort of a musculoskeletal injury. I have no idea how I've done it or where I've done it, but I've got to rest apparently, rest a lot. So no twisting, no turning, no lifting, no doing work, which is really hard to do when you're trying to drive your car, you're trying to live normally, you're trying to go shopping. There's so much you can't do when you're trying to have absolute rest. So it's been a very odd month. The other thing is now towards the end of the month, we've had COVID in the house twice. Our daughter went away to Cyprus and came back with COVID, and Susan went away for a few days to a dog show and came back with COVID completely separately. Our daughter's recovered really quickly, within a week it seems, very mild symptoms. She's back as normal and not affected by it now. Susan has been laid up in bed now for getting on for a week and is pretty bad, struggling with breathing. There's been coughing, splitting headaches. So all the symptoms that you associate, and you start to think COVID is going to be mild, but actually the symptoms are so severe she literally can't get out of bed sometimes and can't go up or down the stairs, which is sort of a good thing. But yeah, for how debilitated she has been, it's been quite scary for her and for me. And very odd in the house, how Charlotte's been in one corner, Susan's been in another, and I've been downstairs and in the spare room, spraying anti-bac everywhere. It's been a very odd existence for the last week or so. Hopefully her symptoms and the experience of COVID starts to improve now. I get the impression that close to a week, and after a week it starts to improve, and should get a clear test sometime within the next week. Hopefully that's over soon, because it's not easy. It's definitely not easy for her. Like I said, it is quite scary because you never know what the next symptom is and how bad it's going to be, and will this shortness of breath and difficulty breathing get worse and you end up on a ventilator? Or is that just scaremongering for those people that like to think of those sort of things? But anyway, our experience here of COVID is it's a bloody awful disease and you don't want it, so do everything you possibly can not to get it and not to spread it is my advice, because it really is quite nasty. And so far, so good. I think I'm getting like psychosomatic symptoms. I don't think I've actually got it. I've tested negative a couple of times, and every time I think I've got symptoms, the next day it's slightly different. So I think I'm okay, but I'm treating it as if I've got it anyway, not really mixing with anyone. I've had to cancel my Octopus Energy air source heat pump survey, obviously because of COVID in the house, and they were going to come in to do the survey. So that's been cancelled, so I haven't got an update for that for you. I've had to cancel a visit from my solar installer to talk about the next step of just finishing off the final things with this battery installation we've got. So several things have been cancelled, but there have been other things going on. I've been investigating both lights and cameras at home from smart automation sort of thing, and it's an odd one that I don't really know what I want. What I'm trying to do is acquire a couple of products, try them, see how I use them, see what I want to use them for, and get an idea of what I want to install before I go out and buy 4 of these and 4 of those and install a lot more. Because yeah, I've got the impression that I could go a bit crazy with outside lights and cameras, both inside and outside the home. And I haven't had them before, so it makes you wonder, do I really need them? Do I really want them? But anyway, I bought a Casa smart camera, and I did that. It was an indoor one, just a cheap one, just to try, just to see the app interface, just to move it around the house, and even use it outside, just to get an impression of what I'm going to capture, what it looks like, how I might likely use it before I go and invest in other cameras. And it's been quite interesting. Like I said about the camera thing, it's interesting seeing down the inside of me with the hospital camera, but there's some interesting sights in the garden especially. I've noticed having the camera outside. We had like a UFO bug buzzing the camera one night. That was hilarious to see. But then some rather scary looking thing, which is either a spider or a giant grasshopper. Who knows what it is, but out of this world looking and very close to the camera. So the night vision on the camera worked really, really well. So I was quite impressed with that. Then outside again, caught a lovely image of a woodpecker flying in and landing on the tree. That really appealed to me. So I'm starting to think wildlife cameras and seeing what goes on in the garden is something that I'm going to enjoy. So I'm probably going to install 3 or 4 cameras outside, both for security and for watching the garden and watching the wildlife. We live near the edge of the countryside, so there's quite a lot going in the garden, whether it's a rat trying to eat the bird food, or whether it's a woodpecker or pheasants in the garden, ducks in the garden, deer, foxes. There's all sorts of stuff going on in our garden at night. And that's what I'm interested in, what really does go on at night. And one of the things I'm hopefully going to get to try soon is this outside light with solar power. So no wires, no plugs, that's what I like. I hate drilling holes. So the fact that it's solar powered and battery powered is perfect. And it's from a company called Wansview. They contacted me to see if I'd like to review the product, but lo and behold, it's now out of stock in the UK, so they haven't been able to send it yet. But they did send over some outside garden lights as almost a consolation. They're obviously keen to get these products on videos. And I wasn't really interested in solar garden lights, but I thought, you know, lights, I'm interested in them. They've got solar panels on the top. You know, why not? Why not try them? And I've been pleasantly surprised. They've been really, really good. So unlike the outside lights we've currently got in the house, which are light sensitive, so they come on automatically at night, it's like Blackpool illuminations around here. There's so many of them and they're so bright white light that they actually bother the neighbours and they illuminate the garden too much at night. So we don't actually turn them on. They're turned off all of the time as Cracker comes down for his breakfast by the look of it, padding around. Anyway, so the outside lights and these solar ones, they're actually a lot better than the normal outside lights that we've got. So they're not floodlights, they're not security lights. They provide more of an ambient light, an atmosphere, and enough illumination that you can actually see what you're doing on the path, but not enough and not a bright light to bother anyone. So I'm quite pleased with these. And they look quite attractive, either at a distance or close up. They're only plastic, they're only push fit together, no screws, no difficulty in fitting them together. And they flicker like a flame. So it's just like having an oil burning lamp in the garden, but it's just an LED light. I'm really quite impressed with them. I saw at Sainsbury's, they do a very similar looking product, so no doubt they're mass produced in China and rebranded somehow. So the only difference with these Wansview ones is that they come with some fittings that enable you to fit them on the wall or on a post or even stand them on a table. So the fittings that come with them are a little bit different, but there's an on-off switch on it, and other than that, they charge up on solar power and they dispense the energy overnight. Which is a little bit odd because at this time of year it doesn't get dark enough for them to come on until after 10 at night, and they go off quite early at 3:30 in the morning. So it's one of those things that, did they come on? Did they stay on? And I'm not the sort of person that stays up till midnight very often. So it's been difficult to work out whether they're working and whether they haven't. So I set up a time lapse and had a look at them all night to work out that they did actually come on at just after 10, and they did go off at 3:30, so they do last the entire night and they do look okay. And on one night during the week I did wake up in the middle of the night, and really sad for me, as the first thing I thought of when I woke up is, oh god, if it's early enough I could actually get a picture outside of the lights on. So yeah, 3:30 in the morning I'm outside taking pictures of these lights in my garden, which, like I say, is a little bit sad, but it did give me confirmation that actually it's quite nice. I do like having them illuminated, and when I test these sort of products, I can always tell whether they're really of interest to me, depending on whether I install them and try them and they either stop getting used or I continue to use them. Such as I've got one of those dash cams still in my car and I'm still using it, so clearly it's good enough because I'm still using it. And it's the same with these lights outside, these garden lights that I had no idea I really wanted, but they're still there, they're still in the right place. I've moved them around the garden to find the optimal place and I'm enjoying having them. I like them so much, I'm probably going to buy some more. I think 4's not quite enough. We've got a reasonably sized garden, so I could probably easily have another 4. And yeah, they work really, really well, and they look quite nice. They flicker nicely as if it is a flame. I wouldn't say they're necessarily realistic that it looks like a flame, but it's just a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling sort of thing. And I do like them. So for a little bit of money, a little bit of light improvement, a little bit of entertainment in the garden, I think they're decent value. So I'm probably going to keep those. So thank you, Wansview, for sending those. I didn't expect them, didn't really want to try them, but it's worked out really, really well. And when we do get this more outside light, which is solar powered, I'm thinking about illuminating the trees at the end of the garden, shining away from the house, not to bother anyone, but to create some more visibility of what's going on. So this light's not going to be a smart light, so I can't control it on and off in a smart way. But I can with a motion sensing camera, so I can link the motion sensing camera, it's seeing something and the light could turn on. So I've got some combinations to try when that light arrives. But in the meantime, another company has been contacting me about solar lights. It's been a real coincidence about cameras and lights, and that is, if you can just see across here, this light here, Lumery, another Chinese brand. They contacted me about their smart lights and would I like to try them. And lo and behold, this one that's there, it's a floodlight. It's a multicoloured one, but it's got 2 little aerials on it. It is Wi-Fi connected and Wi-Fi controlled. So the bulb's not smart, the whole device is. And that I really do want. We've got an outside floodlight, and it's hardwired on a switch in the lounge, and it's amazing how many times I want to turn the outside light on, but I'm not in the lounge, I'm upstairs, so you have to go up and down to turn the light on and off, etc. Whereas with this one, I can just talk to Alexa, and I won't say her name again in case that triggers anything at your home, but you can just say her name and then turn on the light, and the outside light comes on. So that is really, really useful. And I may well not just install that on the house wall for security and for illuminating the garden. I might well install that on our gazebo as well to shine up the garden and be able to see what's going on in the garden. So I quite like these smart lights that are controllable via Alexa. And yeah, this one is actually really good. The quality is surprisingly good. It's not very plasticky, it's quite solid metal, it's got decent weight to it. The connection on the app was really easy to connect up to Alexa. The only thing that I'm struggling with this Lumery stuff is that there are lots of different apps. There's Lumery Smart, there's Smart Life, and there's Tuya, T-U-Y-A, and they all seem to be absolutely identical, but the logons are different. And only one of them, the TUYA app, connects to Home Assistant from what I can read on the internet. So I haven't got there yet. I haven't got this light connected up to Home Assistant yet. Because the Smart Life app and the Lumery Smart app don't seem to connect. But the fact that it works with her name, she who mustn't be named, does what I want. So I'm more interested in the Lumery stuff to see whether it connects to Home Assistant for the smart plug. I saw that Lumery also produce smart plugs, and that one is one they've sent to me, which is not an energy monitoring one, but they do energy monitoring ones as well. And what appeals to me about this is, you know, they're nicely boxed, it looks quality, the items look and feel quality, and the apps seem really easy to use. So if it integrates to Home Assistant as well, then this is a brand and a product that I'll probably buy more of to expand our use of smart plugs inside Home Assistant, if I can get them working in the Tuya, however you pronounce it, app. So I've got that to do probably next month. I haven't really had time to play with them that much. This light will be interesting at Christmas. I think they do a lot of multicolored party lights. I think they think everyone wants to have all these lights dancing to music, which of course this one can do. So I can have my gazebo at Christmas dancing to Wish You a Merry Christmas and those sort of things. But for me and the actual illumination, I'm probably just going to set one color on it and just have it come on and off. I don't see that I want lots and lots of different colors at different times of night or in different circumstances, but you know, you never know when we might want a multicolored smart light. I find this quite interesting, and I'm sharing what happens with me during the month. And I find it interesting when I get approached by companies to try one of their products, and I've never heard of them before. And you gain more confidence about the company and the product because normally if I go on Amazon and saw a cheap Chinese make I've never heard of, I wouldn't dare try them because it's, you know, like throwing money away. So it's nice to actually get to try these products and see that they're actually not just half decent, but they're very, very decent. Both of these companies, Lumery and Wansview, look like the products are really, really good. And these CCTV cameras, these smart cameras that Wansview do, look excellent. They look just what I'm after. So again, they do one that I've asked for if it comes in stock. The new solar powered one and battery one that I don't have to actually plug anything into. So no drilling holes in the wall. So for outside lights, these might be the perfect ones for me, and that's why I've been quite interested in both lights and cameras this month. I have also ordered a pack of 4 smart plugs. These are energy monitoring ones from Amazon, but the difference that I've seen with these is there's no brand on them. They're just called smart plug, and even the box has no brand on it at all. So clearly they're made by one company and just distributed to all sorts of people to sell. These on Amazon were recommended by Amazon, but it's a very nondescript Chinese, heaven knows what it's going to be like. I've got very low expectations, but again, I think these connect to the Tuya, T-U-Y-A app, so they should be smart plugs that I can use inside Home Assistant. So I hope so, you never know. These were cheap enough that I just thought I would give them a go and see what they're like. And again, really good to be able to compare to, say, the Lumery one that's there, not energy monitoring, but the difference is really obvious. The plug inside there is better quality than these, and you know, the boxing, the presentation, everything's more professional. So if I was buying them again and they all work the same, I would spend more money even on buying the Lumery ones than these non-branded ones. They just seem better quality. But it's worth trying them, and that's what I've been doing this month, just trying these things in the time that I've had. So anyway, I've rabbled on long enough about lights and cameras. That's what I'm after. If you could help me out, leave me some comments about what smart lights and smart cameras you've tried and what you think of them, how you've found them, whether it's the app or the camera itself or the sensitivity. I'm interested in all those things to work out what to use and how best to use it. And I don't want to spend a fortune. You know, I've seen some of these things are like 100, 200 pounds a light. Well, if I'm going to install 4 inside and 4 outside, I really don't want to be spending that sort of money getting on for £1,000 worth of cameras and lights for something that I didn't really know that I needed in the first place. But if they're 20, 30, 40, 45 pounds a light or camera, then that sort of changes things, and it's sort of money that I can buy 3 or 4 of them one month and a couple another month and grow a little system without seemingly spending a lot of money. So anyway, let me know what experience you've got. I really would be interested in that. And yeah, let's move on. And oh, sorry, last thing, Bluetti. I've been behind in doing my videos. Bluetti sent me this EB55 portable battery, which I've been using. It's really, really good. In fact, I use this more than the Ecoflow ones, and I'm behind schedule. I should have done a review video on this a while ago, but you know, with illness and heaven knows what else, I just haven't got around to doing it. So I've put it in the picture, so at least Bluetti are getting their product on screen, and I'll do a review video soon on that. The really short version is you've got big Ecoflow Delta ones with high specs, and then you've got tiny ones, and then you've got this one sits in the middle. Well, this might well be the Goldilocks of them all, that it's the right sort of size, it's easy to pick up and carry, it's got decent power, not fantastic specifications on how it charges and how it outputs power, but it's enough. And I found I'm actually using that more than the other ones. So anyway, I'll cover that another day. But moving on from products, let's talk about energy. Let's talk about the stats. And there's been a couple of good observations in the stats. And I'll start off with the first one, which was grid import. I realized part of the way through June that I was using more energy from the grid than I wanted to. I was using a few more tenths. And when I saw that those tenths of usage were there and were being used, I started to think, well, why? You know, what's causing it? It's not that using a tenth of a kilowatt hour of energy is a problem, because it's not. You know, it's pennies, it's a couple of pence. It makes no difference. So the effort trying to save it between a tenth and a hundredth isn't that much. But I like to find out why, so that I can understand the usage profile, I can understand how best to use all of the things that we have and all of the monitoring and all of the products, and get them integrating best together. So anyway, I was investigating why we're using more, and I started to compare to 2020 when I had the Pure Drive battery, which had a Victron inverter inside. So I thought, yeah, I can compare how I got on with that, which had a higher ramp up and ramp down than the system that I've got. And lo and behold, what I found was in April 2020, during lockdown when I wasn't charging the car, we weren't using a lot of energy and there was a lot of sunshine, I actually used less energy in April 2020 using the less efficient Pure Drive battery. So a smaller battery, it didn't ramp up and down as well. It just wasn't such a good battery as the one I've got now, but it used less energy for the entire month. And mostly that's because I was trying really hard not to use it. I was trying to only turn devices on when there was more than enough solar power during the day. So it worked out that with using very little energy, I could use a battery that ramped up and down quite poorly and have just fractions of a kilowatt hour of usage during an entire day. And over the entire month, yeah, it was only 2 point something kilowatt hours for an entire month's usage back in 2020. Whereas last month I had 9 kilowatt hours of usage, and this month I was having over 3, and it was going up at half a kilowatt hour a day. So I started to try a little harder and think about what I was doing and not switch off from just using energy whenever I wanted to. And lo and behold, the energy usage went down even lower than I had with the Pure Drive battery. So it can be done, this system does work, but the difference between just using energy any way you like and not worrying about it and taking a little bit more care and taking a little bit more time is the difference between using tenths and using hundredths or even thousandths of a kilowatt hour. So I've gone, I think, 10 days now, and we've used less than 1/10 of a kilowatt hour every day. So it's ranged between about 10 watt hours to 80 watt hours a day is what we've been doing over the last 10 days. And it's been really useful to see the potential of the system, but also to recognize that you can't get too OCD and too pedantic about these things, because whether I'm using watt hours or tenths of a kilowatt hour doesn't really matter. You know, the difference is I'm paying either 25 pence a day for the standing charge and 1 pence for the energy, or I'm paying 2 or 3 pence for the energy. It's just such a small degree of physical usage that I've got to remember it's just a number. And that's the big conclusion that I came to this month, that looking in depth at the numbers, I was realizing that I was looking at hundredths and thousands, and my degree of interest in looking at these numbers was zooming in on such fine detail that it was interesting but unnecessary. So that's been probably the biggest thing that's happened in the month. Stats wise, like I said at the beginning of the video, we've had an incredible month, but let me go through the stats with you now. Really sorry, it's 17 minutes into this video recording already, and some of you are here just for the numbers, but I hope also some of you are here for the journey as well, because sometimes it's the little things that really appeal to me, and that's why I like to share them. Sometimes it's the things that you least expect that provide some interest during the month. Like these outside solar lights, I really didn't expect them to be of interest to me, but they have been this month. Anyway, here are the stats for the month of June. I hope you enjoy them. Let me know in the comments as well what you had and how you got on. I really have reached the stage now where I'm starting to feel a little bit guilty. I've got too much solar power and I'm exporting a huge amount, and I do have to keep reminding myself that's the strategy, that's the plan. During summer I want a huge excess, because at some point I'll be switching to a smart export guarantee and I'll be being paid for what I'm exporting. So that is the plan, to have more than I need. What I want is enough during the winter months, and then a huge excess in the summer that I can trade and make money from, and not have energy bills basically being credit. That's the long-term plan. So anyway, here are the stats for the month of June. So that's a record for us this month because of having the new solar panels: 1,256 kilowatt hours, 1.256 megawatt hours in a single month. The individual arrays have generated more on other months, but collectively the total, that's now a record for us. The breakdown is 618 kilowatt hours from our 3.9 kilowatt array, 352 kilowatt hours from the 2.4 kilowatt solar edge array, and 285.7 kilowatt hours, that's from the new array that's on our gable wall and the garage. This day-by-day view is pretty interesting because it shows how few days there were where we generated very little energy. On average, 42 kilowatt hours a day over the month of June. Unfortunately, we've been unable to use all of that energy, so we have exported a heck of a lot. So almost 600 kilowatt hours went back out to the grid. And no, I am not on a smart export guarantee, so I'm not being paid specifically for those 600 kilowatt hours. And that's another record for us. That's the most we've ever exported in a single month. As I said before, grid import was a bit more than I wanted, with a few more tenths here and there, but 3.9 kilowatt hours is all we consumed from the grid. Interestingly, Octopus Agile would have been cheaper this month, but only because the standing charge is cheaper. So that's £8.10 for the month, including standing charge. Compared to last month, May, that was 9.3 kilowatt hours for £9.20. And April, if we're just looking back another month, 43 kilowatt hours used at a cost of £11.78. Aren't these huge energy bills? If these look ridiculously low, that's what solar and home storage batteries can do for you. So plugging that 3.9 kilowatt hours into our long-term graph that's tracking grid import, you can see that, yeah, some months we do use 500 kilowatt hours or more around winter, but over in the summer it's quite common now with a home storage battery and solar that we're using hardly any energy at all. Hot water, that's provided by the MiniElectric device. 133 kilowatt hours went into keeping us in hot water. Nice free hot water all month. 179 kilowatt hours, that was through the MiniElectric Zappy device charging our MiniElectric, and we covered 777 miles this month. So not huge, but also not too low either. We did have to public charge once, 17 kilowatt hours at a cost of £8.12. Having a smaller battery electric car means I do have to public charge a little bit more than I did with the Kona Electric. Got to say a big thank you to all those people using my Octopus Energy referral code, because that charging on an Osprey charger is going through the Juice network and coming off my electric bill with Octopus Energy, and effectively for free because of the referral payment of £50. So thank you very much for all those people that have used my referral code. Really do appreciate it. That leaves house usage, and that was 342 kilowatt hours for the month, including charging the home storage battery. Out of those 342 kilowatt hours, 102 kilowatt hours was for heating and cooling, so air conditioning devices and heating, which we did actually have on one day. It's been a weird month. One day was really cool and cold, or it felt cold, and other days absolutely boiling hot, needing the air conditioning. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope there's some useful information there for you, and I hope you continue to follow me with the journey of electric cars, solar panels. Oh, electric car! I forgot to update you, didn't I? The Kia ESoul that I told you we'd ordered last month, Kia UK in their wisdom have cancelled all ESoul Max orders. A little bit odd because Kia UK, when I contact them, have denied that they've done it, and the dealers have said that they have. So the dealers have ordered cars that were available to be ordered online. So I ordered through the dealer. They said it was available. It was definitely available on the Kia sales site. Then a month later, Kia have pulled it and cancelled all these car orders. So a lot of upset customers not getting their cars. A lot of interesting comments from people saying, well, you know, that's how it is now. And a lot of people just accepting that car dealers can do what they like with whether they deliver a car or not. I'm really not of that mind. I think if you are offered something for sale and you agree to purchase it and you pay some money for it, you've got a contract. That's an agreement, and the company should at least make a reasonable effort, a good effort, to actually build the car. Kia have not made any effort to build that car that I ordered, that they offered for sale. They have taken a business decision that it's better for them to do something else with their parts and their production time than build the car that they promised to build for me, and they agreed to build for me. And again, what's worse about that is not just that they've done it, but the way they have communicated or not communicated. They basically just want to close their eyes, head in the sand, and walk away and ignore the customer. And I find that really, really interesting. The dealer's been brilliant. The dealer's done a fantastic job trying to find us another car and trying to work out what's actually going on. They're as upset about it as I am. But Kia are just like Hyundai. They don't seem to care about the customer. All they care about is their design philosophy, their brand image that their PR departments are pumping out, and they don't really care when something goes wrong about the customer, they're happy to walk away. They haven't offered me anything. They haven't tried to encourage me to buy another car from Kia. Some of the salesmen have tried. They've tried to say, do I want a Nero? Well, no, I don't want a Nero, which is why I ordered an ESoul. And what I haven't liked about Kia is that they've given me mixed messages. Online they've said one thing, in an email they've said something else, and to the dealer they've said a third thing. There's just no consistency. And it looks just like Hyundai did when I tried to talk to them about the 12-volt battery failures and about the high-voltage battery failures and the software update failures that I had with Hyundai. It seems to be that the people in the UK don't know. They have no idea what's really going on. So it's communication. It looks like Korea just makes decisions that the UK has to put up with. Then the Kia UK and Hyundai UK blag it with the customers and try to avoid it because they don't know what's going on. And then the poor old dealers are left in the dark as well. So they have to do exactly the same and just do their best for the customers without knowing what the heck's going on. It's very concerning because Kia and Hyundai make fantastic EV drivetrains and products. I like the cars that they're producing. I don't necessarily rave over the design of them. But what worries me is when something goes wrong, they don't seem to be honourable and they don't seem to be caring about the customer. And that worries me from the point of view of warranty, because if they don't care about a sales contract and agreement, then will they care about warranty? Now, I know there's probably a lot of examples that Kia and Hyundai have been brilliant with warranty, but if they can do it on one hand so easily, then they can do it any other time as well. And I really don't like that. And no problems shouldn't happen, so you shouldn't have to worry about whether the Kia UK company or the Hyundai UK company have to get involved. But lo and behold, now with Hyundai and Kia, I have had to try and involve them, and they've both been awful. It must be the philosophy of how the Korean companies work. I've had such a better experience with Mini, whereas you order a car, you actually get an order slot, you know it's going to be produced, they actually make effort to produce it, and the plant communicates with the dealer who communicates with you. You do know what's going on. It is just so much better dealing with BMW Mini, and being built in the UK probably helps as well. But it is better than dealing with a Korean company where you're just left in the dark, not knowing what's going on until the very last moment. You don't know if your car's being produced this month, 3 months' time from now. And yes, there's parts shortages all over the world. But for goodness sake, you know, how long has parts shortages been going on? If they haven't planned for it and they haven't worked out how to deal with it, then it just shows that they're handling it pretty poorly. But again, the big thing, problems happen. You know, they do happen, but it's what you do and how you react to the customer when problems happen that makes you either a good company or a bad company, in my mind. It's that after-sales service, dealing with issues, which is where the company is challenged. And that, for me, is where Hyundai and Kia fall down. The products are great, but when things go wrong, they're not so great. So I'm apprehensive of buying a Kia still. We're still interested in a Soul, but we can't actually order one. We can't buy one. Lo and behold, some dealers are still sending me quotes to order a new Soul, even though Kia UK have cancelled all the orders. So you know, the communication really isn't working. But anyway, enough of that. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my rant, especially about electric cars and ordering from Kia. I haven't enjoyed it. I hope they come good at some point. I hope other people have had better experiences, but it seems so difficult at the moment, doesn't it, ordering an electric car, because you've either got to wait so long or you can't trust it's actually going to be made. It's going to lead us to all want to order one of those, and one of those, and hope one of them gets built in time and cancel the other orders. Well, again, that's not what we want. We don't want unreliable customers, and we don't want unreliable car manufacturers. We're going down a path that's really quite uncomfortable at the moment about getting a car. And people are getting desperate to own an electric car, and hence they're paying over the top. They're paying more than the car is worth. Anyway, thanks for listening to my waffle and whinging. I hope it wasn't too bad. I hope there's some stats there that you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave me some comments. If you haven't liked the video already, you really ought to, because you've watched to the end. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscriptions are nearly 13,000. I can't believe how it's jumped from 10,000 to 13,000. This channel is going from strength to strength. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. See you again soon. Bye for now. As Charlotte hovers at the door, waiting to come in, being really good.
We love EVPUZZLE.
Some people do, Kia don't. Take care, bye.